Once you come face to face with who you are, you have a starting point. All right, I'm not real smart. I have nothing. That's my starting point. Now we can move from there. But if I tell myself I'm strong, I have courage, I'm smart, and all these are lies, you continuously push that starting point backwards. Right? So that starting point is the truth. I talked to this one kid the other day. College is kicking my ass. I said, what are you gauging that off of? I go, are you trying? He goes, yeah, I'm trying my ass off. I'm studying hard. I go, what are you gauging trying hard off of? Well, in high school, I didn't have to try at all, and I made great grades. In college, I'm trying hard. You're trying hard compared to what you did in high school, which was it came easy to you. So your reality is something you created off of something easy. So you trying hard is 2 hours of studying. I'm gonna tell you a difference in trying hard and trying hard. Trying hard is something in your mind just doesn't stop, where you know 2 hours isn't enough. So it's all about, reality and what you're basing things off of. What is in us, we have no idea until we start trying hard. And I mean really trying hard, where you're obsessed with, hey, this is my new norm. My new norm is that, wow, this isn't always fun. And that's when you know you're trying hard. When you quit, your mind says we're done. So it doesn't expand. There's no expansion. When you say, this sucks, I'm drowning, I'm miserable, I'm suffering, I'm broken, but I'm not going anywhere. He's not leaving. So we gotta expand. We gotta grow. We gotta figure this thing out. And then you start to engage parts of your mind that you never engaged before. But you can't engage it talking about what I wanna do. I can't get this paragraph. I can't remember what's in this paragraph to pass this test. Read again. Still not getting it. Read again. But if you're not getting it, write it out. And that's how I started learning. Okay, well, I gotta write out everything I do. And then write it out again. And write it out again. And guess what happened? I got it. I realized if I keep going back and going back and going back until the just becomes, your mind will say, okay, we're gonna figure it out, because he is not going to stop. The voice in my head said, you know what, man, you're gonna die never even trying to reach your full potential. And how's that gonna feel?
Most of us are standing in a busy street, just letting the opportunities in life pass us by. We're waiting for the perfect situation, the perfect circumstances, the perfect opportunity, the perfect time. There's never going to be a perfect time or the perfect moment. There's never a perfect moment to do something great with your life. Take a look at the clock. That thing ain't stopping for nothing, baby. It's gonna keep ticking, keep moving, keep passing you by all the time you're waiting for it to read perfect o'clock. You have to take action now. Whatever that goal is, whatever that dream is that you're holding in your mind, now is the time. Now is your moment. Today is that day. Not tomorrow, not next week, but right here, right now. Why keep looking around at people that are where you want to be, living the type of life you want to live? Look at that place where they are and say to yourself, now is my time. Now is my moment. Forget all your excuses. Forget all your problems. Everyone has the same problems. It's our solutions to those problems that make us different. Do you have the courage to get what you want? It takes courage to achieve your goals, man. It takes courage to be successful. It's easy to be comfortable. It's easy not to try. It's easy to give up. It's easy to stand on a sideline and watch while other people with courage go out and get all the shit for themselves that you want for yourself. It's easy to look at these people and make excuses as to why they can do what you can't. You have everything you need to achieve anything, and you're going to let fear dictate what you do? You're stronger than that. Come on. This is your time. You know what you want, so go get it. It's there. It's out there staring you in the face, saying, take me, I'm yours. But you're too busy waiting for the stars to align. But I tell you this, they ain't gonna. And before you know, your time has run out. Don't get to the end of your time and regret that you didn't try. Now is your time. Remember, you can fail in life doing something you hate, so you might as well risk it and do something you love. It takes courage to get what you want and to start changing your stars. You have to go into it with the knowledge that it ain't gonna be easy. It's gonna be a battle. You can either be a victim of your life or the master of it. But the choice, that's yours to make.
Yes, it hurts sometimes when you feel alone. It hurts sometimes when you're in that dark place and you feel no one cares about you. The first thing you got to realize is that you got to love yourself. It's about self-love. Start understanding that if you're going to do something with your life, you got to fall in love with yourself again. You got to stop self-hating yourself. Do something that's gonna make you a better person. Make an impact in this world. Don't look at it as though it's something that you gotta do temporary. Although we know that life is short, like many people in this world, they didn't realize that the next day they was gonna be diagnosed with a cancer. They thought that tomorrow was gonna be waiting for them and they did not wake up. But you are still living. Now what do you have to do? How are you gonna move forward? How are you gonna proceed your life? Life is not a game. Life is living. There's the good and there's the bad, and there's definitely the right now. You can't wait for somebody else to make your life better. You got to make your life better. You got to focus on you. Now, I'm not saying forget the rest of the people, but I'm telling you to get rid of the things that are not making you strong, that are not making you better, that are not making you efficient, that's not putting you in a better place, that's not giving you the strength that you need to keep living the life that you have been given. Don't you give up on life, because once your life is over, you can't come back. Leave your mark. Help someone. Lift someone up when they're down. Be the strength for others when they're weak. And maybe when you're at the weakest point in your life, someone will lift you up. Because we all struggle. No one is immune to it. So keep fighting forward. Don't give up. Live. Breathe. Life. You. That's what it's about. It's gonna hurt. Sometimes it's gonna get tough. But when it get tough, you get tough. Just make sure you make your mark. Make sure you make your mark in this world. Because somebody didn't make it today. But you did. Keep living. Keep living strong. Don't give up. It is not about worrying about what's going to happen tomorrow, because guess what? Tomorrow doesn't owe you or me anything. And matter of fact, tomorrow has already made up its mind. You have this moment. You can't worry about yesterday, because yesterday is not coming back to look for you. Whatever you had the chance to do yesterday won't come back. But you have this moment. You have this chance to do something great with this life that you have been given. You may have been through a lot in your life. You may have been through hell in your life. But hell doesn't own you. Hell did not create you. Life has been given to you from a higher power. Something that you need to understand, that no matter who you are, in this world that we live in today, everyone must struggle. Everyone must suffer. But everybody that is going through something always has a story to tell. Most people that are successful right now had to go through something to get what they got to this day. Some people are not even willing to hurt and to feel that so that they get what it is that they want. But let's go beyond that. What about the other people out here who can't walk? What about the people out there who can't talk? What about the people out there that are suffering from diseases they cannot be cured from? What about you? What about you? What are you gonna do about the life you have? How are you gonna live? How far are you gonna go? Do you feel sorry for yourself because you're having a bad day? Do you feel sorry for yourself because you lost your job? Do you feel sorry for yourself because you just feel like you're just not having the day that you want to have because the day that you have is not the way you want it to go? Or do you feel that you deserve a pat on your back because you did a good thing? We all got a responsibility. We all got to be accountable. We all got to put in work, but don't give up. Because there's somebody out there right now that is hurting. There's somebody out there right now that is struggling. There's somebody out there right now that's got it a little bit tougher than you do. So why are you gonna give up now? Anything that comes your way, you got to be prepared to accept the challenge and go through it. Don't lay on your back. If something's on your chest, get it off. As long as you're breathing, as long as that heart is pumping blood, you're not dead yet. They haven't put rose petals on your box yet. Make sure every breath you take counts for something. It's time to understand that if you want to get something out of your life, you got to be willing to work for it. How much are you really willing to give? Are you prepared to hurt? Are you prepared to struggle? Because if you're not that person, then lay back down. Stay where you are. Don't move forward. Move backwards. But if you are the person that you say you are, we don't have time to wait. Because time doesn't owe you anything. Time is not thinking about you. Time has already made up its mind. What you gonna do? Who said it's supposed to be easy? It takes grit. It takes tenacity. It takes sacrifice. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. This is not a pity party. But you got the right to celebrate the life. Because no matter if it's good or if it's bad, nothing is greater than living. Because if you're living, there's a possibility to change something. But not just change it, evolve it. Evolve it to something greater. Being able to take something that may not be nothing to others, but may mean something to you. There are so many people in this world that don't believe in you. But while you're sitting around worrying about people believing in you, Why don't you focus on believing in yourself? Live, breathe, life, you. That's what it's about.
Life is not like a football game. Life is not like a basketball game. Life is not a sport. In sport, if you're losing when the clock stops, you've lost. You failed. When time is up, when the buzzer sounds, you're either a winner or a loser. You can't change the score. Your dream has no clock. You try and try again until you succeed. You decide if a failure is the end of your dream, and you also decide if you keep going. You see, there really isn't such a thing as failure. There's only your choice to quit or keep going. If you keep going, you haven't failed. It's just a prolonged victory. A better story.
Most people quit. That's why they call it failure. But really, there's only you deciding to quit, you deciding to keep going, or you dying. There's no failure. If you don't succeed the first time, decide to keep going a second time. If you don't succeed the second time, decide to keep going a third time, fourth, fifth. Change your path, not your goal. Work harder, work smarter, try something new, get advice, keep going. If you run out of money, find a way to get more and put it to better use this time. Do not accept failure, ever. You are better than that. Decide to find a way. Decide to keep going. Refuse to accept failure in your life. The only thing that can stop you from reaching that dream is death.
If the plan doesn't work, change the plan, but not the goal. Stay focused on what you want. It doesn't matter how you get there. It doesn't matter which path you take. Just make sure you take one that gets to your goal. You failed. You're not a failure. You failed, but it's not over. Keep going and turn that failure into a great story. Everything you are going through is preparing you for what you've asked for. You asked for great character, and you're developing a great one. Keep going and get your rewards. Keep going and show the world your character.
What happens is when we wear the mask, we're not dealing with the things below the surface. If you don't begin to address some of those internal things with talking to safe systems of care, and when I say that, I'm talking about teachers and counselors and parents and people in the community, people that you know, even best friends, people that you can confide in and to begin to talk and to process some of your hurts and your pains and your emotional struggles. Because if you don't, the pressure is going to find its way out. You see, communicating and talking about these things, it's the healthiest, safest way for us to constantly alleviate that pressure. But what happens is we're wearing masks, and so that pressure builds, and it needs to find a way out. So some of us turn to thoughts of giving up. Some of us turn to thoughts of self-harming. Some of us turn to picking on kids and bullying kids, because honestly, hurting people hurt people. And so for all of you, sometimes I feel like you're broken. For all of you, sometimes I feel like you've made too many mistakes. For all of you, sometimes I feel like you're a failure. Like, you need to understand something. Like, regardless of what you've been through, regardless of what some of the things in your life that seem broken and they seem like they're in shambles and like nobody understands you and that you feel alone, you're a failure and you feel like you can't achieve, and you feel like people have labeled you. At the end of the day, everything that you've been through, I just need to challenge you, like, to do it afraid. Color your picture, because broken crowns color just as beautiful as brand new ones. And I know some of us in here, you're like, Nate, bro, yeah, man, you're right. But my community's already labeled me. People have already written me off. You don't know my story. You don't know about what's happened to me here. You're right, man.
but I do know that you matter. And I do know that you have friends around you. And I do know that you have counselors and teachers and people surrounding you, and you don't have to do this on your own. But you will never get there, ever, by stepping on the necks of others around you. You will never get there by picking on kids and making fun of kids. Because here's what's going to happen. Until you begin to face your real issues, until you begin to recognize, you know what, I'm not okay, and take off the mask and take off the fake image and portraying to be this dude that or this chick that you're really not, until you begin to face some of the things that you're struggling with and talking to counselors and teachers and parents, talking to somebody that cares about you and that believes in you, until you talk about it, you're never going to change, man. Listen to me, man. I get passionate about these things, not because, you know what, this is just my job. Like, I live this, man. Like, I don't want any of you in here to have to go through and make the mistakes and the journeys that I made. Take control of your life. There's too much world out there for you to just exist. We are born to experience life. You were born to be better, to achieve better, to become better, so you can experience more. But just like my daddy told me when I was a kid, no one's going to spoon feed this to you. You've got to take control of your life. And that's just facts. I know we always hear sticks and stones can break your bone, but words can never hurt you. That's not true. That's not true. That's not true. Words hurt. Do they not? Words hurt. It is a natural thing for every one of us to want to feel respected, want to feel loved, and want to feel valued and not invisible to somebody. And I know I sound aggressive when I'm talking about bullying, or how I like to call it as verbal, mental, or emotional abuse. But it's because I care about you. And you're never going to reach your full potential until you take off your mask. You're never going to fulfill your destiny until you get to the root of why you treat us the way you treat us. You're walking wounded. You are valuable. You have worth. You're not alone. But you have to find the courage to begin to talk about your hurts and your pains. I promise you, you were born to leave your fingerprints on history.
There are two things you need to know about certainty. One is that it's an idea derived from fiction. There's no way of knowing exactly what the top of the mountain will look like. And waiting for that to materialize, to have that crystal clear step-by-step formula, it creates stagnation. We don't have perfection, so we don't move. It's one of those things where you wait and days turn to days and more days and weeks and months and years and eventually regret. Why? Because we were not certain. And what do? See, this leads to the second piece. We study everything. Right? We live in a time where we have access to unlimited resources. And it's this incredible thing, right? We can study the LeBron James, the Jeff Bezos, the Gary Vaynerchuks of the world. We can see exactly what they did. We can see how they think, how they approach problems, how they get to solutions. And on one hand, it's an unbelievable benefit. Knowledge is power. But on the other hand, there's a cost. And this cost can be extremely detrimental because it mitigates the most important thing in your life, and that is your unique self. What makes you valuable? What do you bring to the world? What makes you tick? And I'll tell you right now, you do not find that by studying how Jeff Bezos started Amazon and attempting to duplicate it. You don't find that by simply copying LeBron James' workout routine. Your value, your source of happiness, that's discovered moving forward through ups and downs, falling and getting back up, not once, not twice, but repeatedly. And it's through those trials and tribulations that you carve out who you are. But if you wait for the perfect moment, you'll never find it, which means you will never go through this process. I often think back to my days in the corporate world, in the insurance industry, being in a situation that I was not thriving in. And if someone sat me down and said, Eddie, what do you want to do? What is the top of the mountain? What does success look like to you? I couldn't answer that. But what I did know is that I loved to create. I loved to speak, to write, compose music, produce videos, just put out content. That's what I was destined to do, and I knew it. But if I waited to move until I knew exactly what my life would look like, until there was, this path perfectly paved to the finish line, I'd still be there. I'd be in a cubicle crunching numbers in Excel in a weirdly painted beige room. But sometimes you have to move forward. Trust your gut, your instincts, what you love to do. Embrace the idea, the fact that you'll fall down and you'll get back up. But that it will shape you. And that as you go on living your passion, your purpose, thriving in life, the pieces come together. You have to trust that, even when it's not certain, because I'll tell you what is certain. If you do not move, you will not achieve. That world will spin right around you. I read a book a few months ago called Hatching Twitter. Simple read. It's about the founders of Twitter, Jack, Ev, all these guys with their different ideas and different, notions of what this company is going to be. It started out as, I believe, a online radio company, and it evolved, and there were pivots and adjustments and alterations, and they kept moving forward, and they kept growing. And there's one point where they have a valuation of millions and millions of dollars, and they're having a conversation like, what is our company? Is real-time news the focus? Are we promoting social interaction? Like, what is it? How do we brand this? How do we market it? What do we have on our hands? This is a company worth millions of dollars. Talk about just moving forward, taking it one step at a time. Things will change, they'll evolve, but you have to give yourself an opportunity for that to happen. Imagine if they never left the garage or whatever room they started the company in because they didn't know what it would be in 2017. We wouldn't have Twitter. And that applies to everything around us, right? We have this idea that, things were meant to be, they were destined. No. Things exist around us because of risks that were taken. Because people pushed forward until they got a result, until they knew what they were meant to do, and it materialized. And that is life. So don't be scared to take that step. Don't be nervous to fall down. You need that. The world needs that, because without it, we'll have could-be's and some days, but not the existence that we want, that you deserve, that you're capable of acquiring. No longer is certainty the standard. Progress is the standard, and your life will change.